All right, welcome to part two. So now let's get into what your individual project's going to be. The way that I'm going to organize this is you will see obviously your name and it talks about everyone's doing the PowerPoint project, so that'll be the first one. And then it talks about your own individual personal one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give every single person a minute, all right, as I explain it. So I'm going to start Danielle's, for example, at 30 seconds. That means Cameron, yours is going to start at a minute 30. Nicole, yours is going to start at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, okay, and so on. So let's start with Danielle. So you've got the PowerPoint project. Then the other thing you're going to do is you're going to make a training video on how to use the AI platform Synesthesia. All right. You will use and learn Synesthesia in order to build a training video on the top 3 tactics to improve the team/work environment, since you're going to be working with teams, etc., of what you explained. All right. So there's actually 2 parts of this project. Number one, you go into Synesthesia, you learn how to use it, and you're going to create a training video on how to improve your team or work environment. What you then are going to give to the group is you're going to give a tutorial on how to use Synesthesia in order to create that training video. So what you're going to do is first do it so that way you know it really well, and then you're going to take us through the process once you know it well of being like, all right, so you want to create a training video in Synesthesia. Here's part 1, right? And you'll show us what you do. Here's part 2 when you're talking about the work environment, etc. All right, so make the training video first and then make us a video on how to make that training video. Cameron, yours is going to be making a training video on how to use the AI platform Scribe. So what you're going to do first is you are going to learn how and use Scribe in order to make a video, and your video you're going to make is on how to transform case study data into infographics. So let's say that you needed to teach someone in your job, how in the world, if I have all this data from case studies, this can also be training yourself, how do I change that into infographics for when I need to give a presentation or they need to use this for grants, etc.? How do I change it into infographics that people can understand? So you're going to use Scribe. First, you're going to use Scribe in order to show us how you change data into infographics, okay? That's going to be the video you create. Then what you're going to create for us is you're going to create a video on how to use Scribe in order to create a training video. So you'll use the one that you created as your example, but the video you're producing for us is on how to use Scribe, okay? Then Nicole, so you've got the PowerPoint project. What you're going to do is you're going to make a training video on how to use Figma and or I think you're going to use both Midjourney in order to create assets. So you need to show how to do the following in your training video. 1, how to make an animated character. In case people are using this for social media and they want to use animation instead of real life videos, etc., Midjourney is the one that you want to use for that. Okay. Reason being is it's so AI friendly. You just type in the things that you want in order to, well, you're going to find all this out in order to find that character. All right. And it creates the character for you. So use Midjourney, and you're going to make us a training video on how to use Midjourney in order to make an animated character. Then you're going to make us a video on the top 3 skills for editing. You're probably going to use Figma for this, removing backgrounds, making photos transparent, etc. Whatever you feel like are the top 3 skills that you need for photo editing, that's what you're going to use, and you're going to show us how to use Figma for that. Then how to create a perfect background. Jacqueline will be with you in just a moment. Come back at 4 minutes. All right, how to create a perfect background in your photos. You can use Figma with that as well. All right, think about your audience as those without any design skills, yet they want to create either media posts or something that they're like, this looks like a professional. All right, so you're going to make 3 different videos. 1 on how to make an animated character with Midjourney. 2, top 3 skills for photo editing in Figma. You can actually put 2 and 3 together. So you can do B and C for Figma in one video, okay? Jacqueline, I'm here for you. All right, you are going to make a training video on how to use Figma or Adobe Illustrator in order to do the top 5 skills for marketing purposes. All right, so this can include 1, changing a JPEG or to a PNG to have transparency. It can be how to create a false edited background, etc. I just want you to think about the top skills you need for marketing purposes. And Abby, I'll be with you in just one moment. And show us how to use Illustrator or Figma in order to do those things. Okay, so you're making one training video on the top 5 skills for marketing purposes. Abby, so you are doing the PowerPoint, obviously. Then you're going to read and look into the best AI personal assistant platforms. And you're going to choose one of those AI personal assistant platforms. You're going to make a training video. You can use Scribe, YouTube, however you want to do it, about how to use that AI assistant to schedule your tasks or the tasks of others. All right. So the idea is like if you go into a job and you have a ton to do, you can then use that AI personal assistance for your own benefit. Or let's say that someone, you or somebody else, gets a job where they have to be an assistant to someone, they can use this. So, what you're doing is making a training video about how to use that AI personal assistant platform to get the best results possible. And so, you're going to go through a couple of them and choose the best and make us a training video on that. All right. Now, you are going to talk to Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. You can stay on because you both are going to have the same project. You can use the same AI platform. So, Charlotte, this goes for you too. You can use the same AI personal platform, but you have to be making a training video about using it differently. All right. So, don't do the same type of video. So, you can talk to each other and be like, oh, yeah, I'm using this platform. If you have two different platforms, you don't have to worry about it. Right. If you're using the same platform, just make sure you're not covering the same tactic. So, Charlotte, this is what you're doing, which Abby is doing as well. So, look into the best AI personal assistant platforms. I have them linked here, and I want you to choose one that you feel like is the best, best, best. Then you're going to make a training video using Scribe about how to use that AI assistant to schedule your tasks and the tasks of others. So imagine you get into a job and you've got all these tasks you have to do. You can then use that AI personal assistant to help you schedule your time. Or if someone else gets a job and part of it is a personal assistant, they then can use your training video about how to use that AI personal assistant in order to help with their job. Okay, so that is yours. Yaniv, you are going to be obviously doing the PowerPoint project. Then I want you to check out and click around there's an AI for that. All right, go onto that website and I want you to choose the number one, or you can choose the top five. We're going to talk about this. The best ones to use. All right, you're going to make a training video. You can use Scribe, you can do it through YouTube, I don't care. On the top 5 ways to use that AI for whatever purpose. You have a whole bunch of different ways that you are going for your future employment. So I was like, I would like these to be beneficial to you. So think about what you're going to have to do in your job. I think you have to do like data analysis, right? So find an AI that you feel like is going to help you the most with that. You can use that one AI and do a training video on the top 5 ways to use it for that one task. Or if you're like, I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of different things and you wanna choose an AI for like one thing you'll have to do in a whole bunch of different categories, you can also do that. All right, so it's either one training video on how to use one type of AI for these 5 skills, or Summer, I'll be right with you, or it's going to be 5 different AIs to use for these 5 different skills. Okay, Summer, you are going to research and decide on the top 5 chat GPT commands to give in order to get imperative information about ways to use or learn Excel. All right, so you're going to write the Excel skill and the commands used to best learn that skill in the final page document, final project document. And you're going to create a training video any way that you want on how to put in those commands and how to process / use the information from ChatGPT. If you've ever used ChatGPT, you know that you have to tailor those commands a lot. So if you're trying to learn these very specific Excel skills, what command gives you the best results of learning that skill? And then you're also going to train and show how do you actually implement that into action, right? How do you actually use it for Excel? All right, so you've got the commands and a training video on how to actually process, to put in those commands and use the information. Melanie, all right, so you are going to do the PowerPoint, obviously, and then you're also choosing from one of these 2 projects. Number 1, seeing that you're going to be working with grant research, I want you to research and decide on the top 5 chat GPT commands in order to get information on the business that you don't know. So for example, if you're a freelance research grant writer, you may get a company you know nothing about. All right, so you're going to use ChatGPT, and let's say you get it for the LPO, Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra. You're going to probably use the command of tell me, teach me how. I don't want to give you all the commands because you have to figure this out. Teach me how to, or which orchestra had the best leader to make them the most money, right? They're going to give you that. Then it's the command of teach me how to apply that to the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra. You're going to play around with the commands to find the best possible one you can in order to basically make a grant proposal of what that company should do. All right, so you're going to make a training video any way that you want on how you tailor those commands and then how you would process and use that information. The rest of you, Sammy, Cade, Raphael, Nicole, Jonah, and Sammy, Come back at 10 minutes and I'll tell you yours. All right. So you're making that training video. The other thing you can do is you can use the AI platform designer in order to write a script. So you're going to make a training video on how to use that AI platform in order to create the best script you possibly could use. You can show the pros and cons of what you put in and what you received in order to get to the best script. Okay. Then Sammy, Cade, Raphael, Nicole, Jonah, and Sammy, you did not put your information in the collaboration document, so I didn't know what your future endeavors were with employment. So you all are doing this project individually. All right. But you can't change your project. Everything's already set in stone. You got to stick with it. So obviously, you're all doing the PowerPoints individually. And then you are going to use Canva, or you can choose an AI platform that you know that you like. And you're going to create an editable information document that has 5 points of between 3 and 5 points of information. Don't go below 3, don't go above 5. All right. The big part is this has to be able to be edited by the user. So you're giving the link to the template, but you can't just do like a JPEG and put that in. All right. Now, your visuals need to align with your internship or your future employment. So, for instance, if you want to work in finance, you can make a tip sheet on the top 5 AI investors with their title, a short summary of what they do, or the best version or best things to do with them, and a short, and then a matching image. So, here's an example of what a tip sheet looks like, right? This focuses on interview tips. So, be honest, do research, ask questions. Notice it is minimalist and incredibly concise. It is not wordy, but it's visually pretty boring. Therefore, we're going to agree to have the following. The background needs to be white. All right. But you can encase the text like this part here in a more interesting image and color if you want. But you do have to have an animated picture above it. No photos. We want this like these type of animations to align with the text. Like ask questions, you get a question mark. Do research, you have a magnifying glass. This one I don't remember. I think honest was a scroll, but it's not showing. All right. So make your font professional yet interesting, and make sure that the template is editable. I can't stress this enough. You can do this through Canva, and then you know how you just share the template link and then others can copy it and change it. All right. You're also going to make a training video on how you created that info sheet. So you have 2 things. You have your template and your training video. Okay. That's the end.